Again. Good morning or today, wherever you watch us, because the film, as I understand, will go through whole world. I would like to present you to somebody very special, very important, not only in Sweden, but everywhere where people fight for children's rights, for breach of law, for corruption, and the best of the child, what they call, but it isn't in reality like that. The person I have with me today is Ove Sweden. This is President and Chairman for the World Peace Foundation. And I would like to show you one of his books, the famous one and very daring one, The Profitable Municipal Kidnapping in Sweden. There is a lot of things going on and people talking about Sweden as a country who kidnaps children, and we don't exaggerate if we are saying that, but I think that Ove is the right person who will explain to you his work, because he has been doing all his life fighting for children's rights, human rights, and I think he's the right person who I present today. So Ove Sweden, welcome.
Thank you.
And I would like you to tell us something about you, and then lot of about the camp for children you've been doing all your life. You can start now. You can start now, Ove, telling about your fight for children's rights.
Okay.
And about your book, The Profitable Municipal Kidnapping in Sweden.
The Swedish title is Lönsam kommunal människohandel. The proper word nowadays in English is trafficking. I didn't know that word when writing those books, but came in contact with the ICC, International Criminal Court, and how they can make an accusation to a country. And so I got a format. After writing the Swedish book, I got a format and style in the International Criminal Court, and that gave. So I was part of the International Criminal Court, and this is one of the cases, and it was kept there for 3 years. So that's the legal strength of it, because I've included some of the 4 or 5 of the letters to International Criminal Court. So that makes it not just a Swedish blog. It's a case with a case number for 3 years, until they found out that according to the laws of the International Criminal Court made up in Rome, we hadn't reached yet the level of folkmord,
Homicide, yes.
So we weren't yet, but they say will keep all the papers until we can reach a new accusation.
I would like to interrupt this moment, because Ove is not a young man anymore, and something happened recently. He lost his sight and is impossible to operate. That's why there is a lot of confusion around us, and he's a bit scared because it's very different to lose your sight in the older age. So sometimes it's not easy to remember, concentrate on things. But I would like to tell me about your work in Brussels.
Yes, before Sweden was a part of the European Union, I was down in my forecasting capacity. I was an energy forecasting for Volvo after being 16 years development engineer of Saab Aerospace Company. So I was accustomed to forecasting business and expertise around the world, and being involved in forecasting and future studies or for future research, as it's called in America. I was invited to Brussels for 7 years, and part of a activity on more intelligent road traffic, ARISE, Automobile Road Information System Evolution. And I'm very proud of this word evolution, because you didn't have a invention. You had to accept a process taking time. And so that was I was in a forecasting business and invited in EU before Sweden was a member, and I'm proud of that.
I remember, I will add one thing, when I work in Brussels,
Yes.
people were very proud and they speak very respectfully about your work there.
Oh.
Yes, and they above all, when I work with the commissioner for the children's rights, and she didn't know at the time what it was, but she had a lot of money and a big position. So when I talked to her, she mentioned Uwe.
Oh.
She asked me, is he from Sweden? I say, yes, you have to meet him. Yes. And because he fights so many years for children's rights, then I say the only person which you have to meet, it's Uwe Sweden. So she was very surprised, but many people even then heard about you, because I used to work also in Brussels with the Justice Department at the time, and you had your name was very big and known there. So I am proud, and you are my friend. And I work with this book, and I hope we work on the next book, because
Okay.
I prepare a lot of materials, but because if you can't see, you will record it, and we will that way we make it possible, because your experience to work to fight for children, for those who are weak, it's very famous, and I am very, very proud to be your friend. So I would like you more to tell us about the Swedish way, how they treat children, because now recently they show in Swedish TV program which never were allowed to be seen in past years, but now they can't hide the truth anymore. So tell us a little bit about your camp for children, which I will say about the book a little bit.
Yes, Sweden is the most materialistic and atheistic country in the world. And my friend Ivan Romanov von Birchan Ivan Romanov von Birchan, was raised in an orphanage in Yugoslavia. He says Sweden has reached to the level of 1987, 2 years before the Berlin Wall fall, and 4 years before the collapse of the Soviet Union. Sweden is so atheistic, socialistic, but we call it social democrats.
Where is democracy there?
That's to be
Just
seen.
the word.
And that's the issue until 2 years' time when we have a re-election. And we will happen in Sweden as happened in France, where social democrats are reduced to almost zero in some few years. We are 30 years after the political events in Europe.
Yes, that's you're right, you know. What I would like to say, Sweden is using the word democracy, but has nothing to do with real democracy. Maybe
That's
even
right.
they don't know what it is, and they use the words often the barnens bästa, which mean the best of the child, which has opposite in practice, which is totally opposite. And tell us a little bit about your experience with work with children. For children's right,
Well,
I will say.
I have it through writing those books and getting contacts with the mothers who use my wordings in those books to find an explanation to the brutal trafficking going on in Sweden. Brutal trafficking. It's worse than in any other country, and it will be exemplified now in coming months, because when my book in English was sent by the American ambassador Mark Brzezinski.
Mark Brzezinski, yes, I know, I deliver, because Mark Brzezinski was my friend, and his father, Zbigniew Brzezinski, he passed away a few years ago.
Yes.
He was also one of my friends, and they read the book. The book is in the White House, This book is in White House.
And mind you, President Trump has a daughter who is now assigned to the issue of trafficking. So when knowing that from my contacts in Brussels, I sent her a copy of my book to her in the hope that she will be following her father to the peace summit in Stockholm in hopefully in October this year.
Peace Foundation, World Peace Foundation, because Uwe, Sweden is chairman for that foundation since 25 years back.
But it is called foundation in America to raise funds for that is tax exempt according to the law in US. But in Sweden, state is on control of everything. So we are totalitarian society.
Yes.
And but I hope that Ivanka Trump with my book in her hand, goes up to her father and asks, "Can I come with you in the Air Force One when going to Sweden in October?"
Because this will be the conference in Sweden,
Yes.
in October.
Because it is interesting to note on the mailing nowadays with a picture of President Putin and Xi Jinping taking hands. Let us test peace.
Those two most regime countries,
So
China and
the missing person is Donald Trump. If he's going so and going further with this idea of in an executive order, say now we should stop NATO, then he is on the friendly team. Okay. You can expect anything from him nowadays.
Yes.
So watch
You are
out.
very right.
Watch out for the next vice president he's electing.
I hope they will elect Trump again, because he's the only one who dared to do something which was unacceptable before.
Exactly.
Criticize the journalists because they work for politicians. They are not independent. They
That's
are
right.
Even in Sweden.
Very much so.
Recent budget was 200 million for poor journalists, and they have a lot of money. And nobody read paper because they speak the same thing what politicians, exactly, they follow the politicians. And so, but tell us more about Brussels and more for your camp regarding this book, because everybody will have this book soon.
Well, I tried to get in contact with the person you mentioned in Brussels, but
Yes.
Wasn't allowed in to have a meeting with her.
With her, yes.
Only sending the book over the official mail.
Yeah, I know. Because
But
she was not interested to sending the book. It showed then she is not doing her job, and she was the commissioner.
That's exactly so.
Margaret Tuit. She was the commissioner for children's rights, which she break by ignoring it. So
Yes.
that's exactly.
And when going to my senior advisor in law and presenting my book, before he had opened it, he just made a comment. There are many pedophiles in Brussels or Belgium. Before opening the book, with just the title.
Yes, that's right.
And to end the story of America, do you know that President Trump is a kosher Jew? That's made him able to move American embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. So these things of legal, political, racial things are acting in behind in everything that is happening now in this turmoil around vad heter det, virusen?
In the virus, using the virus as excuse.
Yes.
Virus COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
Corona, yes, corona, or they call COVID-19. This is some kind of excuses which actually benefit many people, and us. Those who really fight for children's rights have have extreme opportunity because many people sitting home, they cannot go out. And that's why they read the news, the real news on internet and so.
Yes.
We have so many cases, about 1,500 mail every month about horrible situation. And this morning make me happy and will make you happy than the free Swedish TV, which is on the on one channel, 5. In the morning they show a case of child abuse in the foster house.
Yes.
And the whole situation, the corruption and social secretary's stupidity and everything, because nothing has changed. They just ask more budget to have more social secretaries. No requirement of education, of anything special. Any stupid person can be social secretary.
Yes.
Social secretary. And they use now many foreigners who are very cruel, come from country which nobody knows the child best, can be social secretary in Sweden. And I would like you to tell me more about yourself, about your life and reason why you did the fight for children and justice. That's been typical for you. Fight for justice, not only children, but everybody, against racism and so.
Well, it started as an atheist, materialist aircraft engineer at Saab. I was dreaming about making myself into leading a project on the Viggen aircraft flight training simulator. And I had before been working for a Royal Air Force flygförvaltningen, Air Force Board,
yes.
On testing simulators for Viggen aircraft. So I found an idea to make a similar case where Saab was itself doing the simulator for its aircraft. And suddenly I woke up in one day waiting for dinner from my wife and looked into a circle of light. And the voice said, "You will become a project leader." Oh, are you doing such concrete things? And then half a minute later, and then you will become a president. What is this? I was totally surprised and never understood president for what. So it took me some months when I philosophized about that there was a problem in Sweden. We had a kingdom, but we had no real control of politicians in a democratic elected president. So I started to think constructively for a new Sweden beyond 2030, when our present Crown Prince Victoria Bonaparte, daughter
to the king,
and to the Field Marshal Jean-Baptiste Bernadotte of Napoleon Army, who was invited to Sweden in 1810 as a crown prince. And some 5 years later, after the Vienna Conference, he was elected king of Sweden. And in a situation where he chose neutrality and an alliance with Norway rather than going out and fighting the arch-enemy Russia. And that was in the same time as President Monroe asked America to be neutral for 100 years, to build up an industrial capacity that was used 100 years later as a start for the Balfour Declaration to establish a home for use in Jerusalem. Big thinking, but that is and I have continued that with some 20 letters to President Trump over the mail he is using. And that can happen something, and one part is the book Profitable Municipal Kidnapping or Trafficking, that his daughter is jogging to become a member of the White House government.
Is that so? It's interesting what you are saying.
It can be.
You never know.
So therefore I look forward to to hasten things. I sent my book to Ivanka in a copy some half a year ago.
But there was already your book in White House, not only the EFN in
exactly.
United Nations
so
and White House and everywhere.
So when his father with this book, they will compare books.
Yeah.
And it's the same book.
I delivered to Brzezinski. He was
the
advisor to the Reagan.
Made by
Helena.
Helena.
Yes. Iga Helena. I think I am really proud to know you, and I think because of that book, but also our cooperation, we will inform people now. Now it will start things we've been waiting for so many years and fighting for children right, And you will be the senior, I will say the person who people will have enormous respect all over, because you had a difficult life to fight for your ideas and above all the children's right. That's what wasn't respected. That's what I like, and as your friend, I am proud to call myself your friend if I can. I think you help so many people, so world should know. And this will go through all TV all over the world and network and so through BBC station, because they are behind it. They fight for this. And when I tell them that I know person Uwe Sweden, then that's why we make this interview today.
And just now I'm, as a creative person, I say, of course, a second edition of the book should have the word trafficking.
Yes. I also was thinking, yes, trafficking is the correct word, recognized by everybody.
Ivanka should be a beneficiary of setting the title.
Yes, maybe we even suggest, Uwe, you can suggest that you will say and I will write, and that's the way we can cooperate, because I think you have a lot to contribute still to the world. I'm very, very sad that you are blind now, and it happened successively but suddenly, and I will ask people to where you can be operated. Maybe something can be done.
In Russia, yes.
In Russia only, yes?
Oh, yes.
Are there doctors who can do that in Russia? I will try to find out. I will talk to Russian embassy and try to find out what kind of
And
method.
my friend Ivan Romanov have said that also. And remember, the same book now is presented to Russia Today.
You see?
So
You know Romanov from the Tsar families, Romanov.
So hopefully this action and his action will lead to a big sale of the book Trafficking.
Yes, I believe so.
And remember,
Finally.
remember, you ain't seen nothing yet. This is a music hall expression in America, because you are just scratching the surface of pedophilia and the dirty thing that going on in materialistic countries just now.
Yes, that's right, Uwe. That's exactly. It was beautiful said by you. We will try to find some connection regarding your eyes operation, because it must be very sad. I can see how difficult it is to person to get blind suddenly.
That's half a year ago. I had a full 1.0 central vision, and my peripheral started to sink. Now my peripheral vision is gone altogether. So that's why I can't have a balance and need to have strong
protection, yes.
Help. And now central vision has gone down from 1.0 to 0.2, 20%. And I can't see even a person. I don't see just light and darkness. I see, so in the morning, looking up at the ceiling with my 80-watt lamp, I can't see the lamp as a circle.
Oh, my
It
God.
takes me half a minute before finding the bulb. And that is quite a difference from half a year ago.
That must be horrible. I even can't imagine. Now tell us, Uwe, what we can do to help the World Peace Foundation. Now then you can't see, but you still can work. Your brain is the key in everything.
Supply $1 million fundraising.
$1 million. Okay, we try to do that.
If we can start with 100,000 kroner, that will help when going international.
Yes, I guess so.
And I say, because of family reasons, I have come in a difficult thing. I have in funding my home, and by raising the, det kan jag inte beskriva på engelska. Sorry.
You mean if you by raising the money, the foundation can act, really, not only
We can
right, but act also.
we can act again as a real foundation, not a fundraising.
Yes, I know, I understand. Okay, I will. Do you want to add something? What do you think is important? I have all the time, you see, I keep here in front of me your book in the English title and your name, So
Yes.
that's very important because that people know what it's all about.
Well, I have to go to the publisher of that book because
Can
he's-
you make it this? Can you make this here? Here is on the other side the World Peace Foundation, and that's very important. If you can close. Excuse me, I interrupt you at this moment because I like our cameraman to make it picture of the World, World Peace Foundation, back side of the book. Can you repeat once more?
I hope that the publisher, Vulcan Media, is lifting their ban on this book. This is not a thing that should be published according to the power in reign. So when I'm coming to ask for the royalty for the books sold, they say, you haven't reached the level for a royalty yet. And that's a lie.
Of course, because they banish the
Yes.
book as a contradictory to the government. That's
Yes,
the problem.
that's-
You touch the political reason for the
It's
problem.
forbidden to criticize the government in this country,
Yes. I know.
as it was in Soviet Union 30 years ago. It's
Yeah.
the same problem. We have to go through it. Civil war, as they did.
Exactly.
There are no shortcuts
That's right.
to a moral responsibility for political actions.
That's
And
right.
that's
That's
exactly what stopped Palme and Geijer. The Geijer affair resulted in ansvarsfrihet, freedom from responsibility for officials in the Swedish government, in the Swedish authorities.
Yes, responsibility been taken out. They can do whatever they want. Nobody is responsible actually.
Exactly.
That's the worst thing you can do it.
We see the very results of just now.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we are doing the same thing because we both fighting for many years, but I don't fight as long as Uwe. But I almost 20 years is long time to fight against injustice and injustice against children to start with, And trafficking, it will be fantastic title,
Yes, of course.
Yes,
And that's the difference, because now it's correct English.
But trafficking, you mean we will use LVO trafficking, or you will use after the profitable
But
municipal?
I will also present a book in Swedish. Swedish, and I have a blog. Both.
I know.
So, without a cost to readers, they can read the message in Swedish. Then I have a number of books ready for publishing, and so therefore a very interesting dream that is coming to me in the last decade is I need an extended lifetime, 220 years. And that's exactly what Noah got as a message when coming back with the ark. But at that time they said, now we have to reduce the lifetime of human beings from some 100 years or up to 1,000.
That's what we need, what you need now.
and 220. Now we are mature enough for a restructuring of mental capacities, a new consciousness, a Christian well,
How you say in Swedish?
it's coming to,
Upwaking or wakening?
and this is exactly what is lacking now in my state of near collapse. After half an hour, I don't find the words.
We can't do longer because it's too tiring for,
But I
for
have,
so.
I have now the friends needed here.
Of course, that's the most important thing.
That's the point. So when I'm trying a word, so for instance, trafficking, that's the key.
The
The
key,
next
yes.
new version of the book. And I will give that as a benefit by putting my daughter that had lived in my abstract dreams that my family doesn't believe at all. And now I might even reward them with part of the new edition of the trafficking book.
Yeah, I think it's the correct. I was thinking also about it, but not like that. This is you use the correct word, and I make reclam all the time.
That's good.
Like if people know what is going on, and we will talk about these particular private cases. You know, we have several cases.
So if having 100,000 kroner, I can make that reprint and pay for it.
That is good. Maybe we can erase that. I will think about it. Then we have to think about the Law and Justice organization, Red or Rättvisa, because that's they.
That's exactly it. Because Nordiska kommittén för mänskliga rättigheter, NMKR, is and Ruby, the leader of that, is saying that when President
Trump. No.
Svenska. Nej, som sagt, sorry. I'm too tired as a blind.
Okay.
Yes.
Blindness is
Yes.
tiring me.
Yes. Men Ove, if you have just like social talking, do you have any opinion about Olof Palme's? Because now was the big thing, you know, they're supposed to find the killer and so finansmannen det var. Vill du säga någonting om det? Bara så där social, inte någon expert. Bara vad tycker du om Olof Palme? Tror du på det de säger nu på TV?
Ty chyba po angielsku
Nej.
powinnaś mówić.
Okay, I'm sorry, nu ska sätt på kamera, det will be in English.
Okay.
Just to
Palme var den stora skojaren. Han med Geijer lyckades med att föra in pedofilin som en sak med vilken man kunde skapa den här ansvarsfriheten för svenska myndighetspersoner. Och det var det stora skumma han gjorde. Och sen flydde han ifrån bataljen i fingerat mord.
God heavens, you are saying that what Adam believes also. Ove, this is first I would like to thank you very much because I feel mjuk. I don't know how it's in mjuk now, how it's in English in mjuk. Now I forgot the words, but I feel full of respect and you allow us to have the interview because you are not feeling well, and I think it's a great thing to talk to men like you.
Thank
and
you.
just about Palme is the social talking, you know, which we use as to finish the interview. Interview with you, and I thank you really very much for the cooperation, to calling myself your friend, to working with you, to teach me some things, and I hope for future cooperation because time maybe is not the greatest things, or maybe we can do still many things, like change the name for trafficking on the
Yes.
on the book. That's what you wish to do.
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't shake your hand because you know this the COVID
Corona.
coronavirus and
Yes.
so. But about Palme, your opinion is bluff.
We can do it.
Adam believe like that. That's what we do.
Wiesz co? Zapytam się go jeszcze, czy widział film Call Girl o aferach prostytucyjnych za czasu Palmego i czy Palme był w to wmieszany?
He want to use for other things, you know, the Palme, this is out of this. He asked me if you knew about the Palme's history, they had call girls and things like that during his life, you know. And you know something about it, or you believe it's true or fiction? Just this is social talking now.
Boken En ny vändning skrevs av en vän till mig och han och jag bodde i samma ashram där vi första gången kom i närheten av pedofili, nämligen Sai Baba.
Oh.
Sai Baba ashram was used by an pedophile, Sai Baba.
Oj.
And when I realized that I wouldn't like to have anything with him anymore to do, and so a number of occasions I have survived. Even no.
You become tired, but anyway,
Zapytam się
you
go,
knew
czy
the situation,
jest,
on jest zmęczony.
ale jeszcze w związku z tym, czy jest zainteresowany takimi duchowymi rzeczami, bo tam pełno takich duchowych obrazków jest u niego.
Aha, but this is not, we can't do that today, maybe. We ask Uwe, Mieszko was interested because you have a lot of spiritual pictures in your home, and
Yes.
are you tired, so you can't tell us a little bit about that, why? Just a little bit.
It was a Veda painting that I was part of in one of the places, Holma College of Holistic Studies, where a artist and medical doctor taught about Vedic art. And I was part of that, and some of the sketches I done on an eyeball with the earth as the
symbol,
eyeball.
yes, eyeball. You know, Mieszko is an artist. He paints beautifully. That's why he was interested and want to ask you privately for those spiritual things. Are they mean something to you, or that's only?
Of course.
Okay.
Because all my spiritual awakening is summarized in a book called I Am Philosophizing.
Yes,
as an
because
activity.
you are philosopher actually. You are philosopher.
I
That's-
did that book to a professor, a Polish professor from yes.
You don't remember the name, but then we can add later on because
And when I asked him about is my work worth a doctoral exam, he answered, it's worth 3 doctoral exams.
oh, that's
First you
interesting.
have a straight feedback explanation of relation between will, thinking and feeling. That is a clean theory. But not only that, you have gone through the persons that gave you that on the Saab Aerospace Company and the people that made you mature in a philosophical way. And for the third thing, you made a scenario on a Swedish coming president.
Oh,
And now I have come so far as to discuss by 2030 it will be possible that Sweden becomes a royal presidency.
you believe so?
Yes.
Okay.
And in 2025 I will apply for the position.
Really? Oh, I wish you all the best. Okay, I wish you all the best and long living, of course. I will talk later on. I call to Emily, and so. But I think it was pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Pleasure to record what you are thinking, and Mieszko Tyszkiewicz, you know. He's also our cameraman is from aristocratic family from Poland, very famous one. Me too, but then you know me well. But I will say I am very proud to be with somebody who film and had a good artistic eye for it, you know. So we will try to check about Russia. If we knew, maybe we can talk to your doctor to know the diagnosis, and so maybe it's a way to find. It's easy to find money for operation, and so we will see. You never know.
And
So-
in a sort of way, I have come to the Indian solution. It's not these 2 eyes that are important, it's the third eye that takes into the time dimension into and the 2 eyes are sort of a static picture of the surrounding, materialistic, but the third eye is moral responsibility.
Yes.
Sinnliche und sittliche
Yeah, that is
Farben.
right.
Det är alltså Goethes färglära. And then you come into a new
Ich
realm
spreche
of
Deutsch.
research that Steiner was, and he was one of the inspirer to me.
So thank you very much, Uwe. It was really pleasure to talk to you,
Thank you.
and so and we continue. And